What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 249. This is part number 3 for your Sunday, November 25th, 2018. I am, of course, the master of ceremonies, JD from NY. This is Off the Script, and we have another action-packed day of news and rumors to close out the weekend. And the majority of this news is going to have to be Braun Strowman related. Whether you love him or you hate him, Braun Strowman is a very integral part of Monday Night Raw, and he is not there at least for the next 4 weeks. Or it may be even longer according to some reports, man. So we're going to talk about Braun Strowman. I got some SmackDown Live news coming out of the Survivor Series where the storyline with Shane McMahon is going to go. Why didn't Shane McMahon make a bigger deal about Survivor Series and SmackDown losing 6 to quote-unquote nothing? Also, will Monday Night Raw be getting a new general manager? And WWE may be actually following the blueprint on SmackDown Live and going with a female general manager. So we got all this news today right here on the podcast, man. So action-packed it is for your Sunday. If you guys missed the podcast this weekend, man, we got 2 episodes on the channel right now. There you go. Part number 1. Vince and WWE could have an elite problem in 2019. All Elite Wrestling could be coming in 2019, backed by Jacksonville Jaguars owner Mr. Khan. So we could see that, and it could be a thorn in the side of WWE if they do get a TV deal. Now, I know Mr. Khan is worth much, much more than Vince McMahon, and a lot of you people that have listened to the podcast over the weekend have stated that if Mr. Khan wanted a TV deal, more than likely he would get it. He is worth several more billion than Vince McMahon. So that could be a problem for Vince McMahon and the WWE in 2019. The next couple of months, all the way to the Royal Rumble, are going to be very interesting months, man. We will find out where the Elite, both Matt and Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and Kenny Omega end up, if they are doing their own thing or if they will explore options in the WWE. It's going to be very interesting next couple of months. On yesterday's podcast, we talked about current Mania plans for Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. That is the scheduled match right now, penciled in. Nothing is concrete as Vince McMahon changes his mind just like he changes his underwear. But that is the plan right now for WrestleMania 35 in New Jersey. But there's one caveat. There's one thing I do not like about that match. The idea of that match is very interesting, but the idea that it would be built and the storyline would be built off of Roman Reigns' leukemia? You have to be fucking kidding me. Seth Rollins doesn't need Roman Reigns. WWE doesn't need to write for Seth Rollins and have it anything to do with Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins has more than enough of his own reasons to want Brock Lesnar in the ring one-on-one for the Universal Championship. So we go over all that, plus the damning evidence of Lars Sullivan. What's going to happen with Lars Sullivan as of 11 years ago on a bodybuilding website or a message board forum, whatever you want to call it, just spewing hate towards WWE, performers in the WWE, racist slurs, a bunch of shit coming out on Lars Sullivan conveniently right before he makes his main roster debut. So make sure you guys go and check that stuff out. It is live on the channel. It will all be linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. Follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. Not only is Twitter a great place to find out what I'm thinking when these shows are happening, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the monthly pay-per-views and special events, takeovers, but it's also a great way to be notified of when I actually upload, because as soon as it hits YouTube, it automatically pushes to the Twitter feed, so you know when you scroll on your Twitter feed, oh shit, JD uploaded Off the Script, oh shit, JD upload Monday Night Raw review. It's all there. So it's a great way to be notified of anything that happens right here on this channel. Make sure you follow me on social media, Twitter, primarily at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button. Become one of the 102,000 subscribers here. And please, just as a backup, turn that bell on, give that bell the middle finger, and turn on all notifications. And if you guys want to support through the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY206. I know tonight there will be a Starrcade special. And I'm going to watch, that's the wrong link. I don't want to go over that just yet. Well, might as well, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. You guys, I don't understand why some of you have not gotten your t-shirts yet, man. It's Black Friday. It's better than going to the store and buying a shirt or a present, and you have to wait in those fucking long, excruciating lines with people that you just can't fucking stand the sight of. Barbershop Window eliminates all that, man. You could buy yourself something, you could buy your girlfriend something, you could buy your father something, you could buy your mother something. You could buy a friend of yours who loves wrestling. Listen, JD's got a podcast, Off the Script. I want you to start listening to him. I want you to start representing the podcast because he's fucking awesome. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript has a huge Black Friday sale. And listen to this, man. It's going to be 35% off every single item on the website. And that includes our online shop for Off the Script. All you have to do is choose your t-shirt, and at checkout, when it says enter coupon code, you're going to enter in Black Friday, and you're going to save 35% off, man. So there's no excuses. You have till tomorrow. Go and do it. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript, code BSHOP20, normally for 20% off, but this weekend you're going to use Black Friday for 35% off. Once again, that's code Black Friday at checkout for 35% off. Starrcade is, well, actually, it was yesterday. And I didn't read any of the results. I didn't really care to because it was a fucking throwaway show. But they're airing the 1-hour special tonight on the WWE Network. And I want to hopefully film a little something for you guys in regards to that. Because they did release what was going to be aired on the network. Apparently it's an 8-woman tag. I mean, who gives a shit? It's absolutely throwaway. They got an Elias live concert with Ric Flair. They're going to go over, I believe, a Miz TV segment that happened with Rey Mysterio and Shinsuke Nakamura. That may be setting Rey Mysterio up for the United States Championship, presumably. And then they're going to show you in full the Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles steel cage match that took place at Starrcade last night. I want to watch the 1-hour special, and I want to do like a little review, but I'm not uploading it to YouTube because it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. So I may do that exclusively for my patrons on patreon.com. So I will let you guys know throughout the day what's going on. And when you see it go live on Patreon, you guys will know the deal. And I will notify everybody. If you guys want to sign up, you guys can do that. There's no sense in me doing it on YouTube because it's just not a major show. It's got no traction behind it. There's no build. There's nothing to talk about. So, I mean, it's Starrcade, and I want to go over what happened there. And I want to just keep it very simple and just upload it on the Patreon page. So I'll keep you guys notified on that. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Let's get into the news, man. I have news coming out of Starrcade, and we're going to start off with this. Braun Strowman, okay? Braun Strowman has a quote-unquote shattered elbow, which is storyline talk for a real-life injury that he has right now with his elbow. He has bone spurs or bone chips in his elbow. So he is set to receive surgery on his elbow. So we're going to go over this entire Braun Strowman situation, when or if he's coming back in time for TLC, and who his possible replacement could be as of this Monday for the match against Baron Corbin at TLC. So why did WWE have Baron Corbin shatter Braun Strowman's elbow on Raw? Let's start off with that. Now, after a 23-minute elimination tag, it was ended by Baron Corbin destroying Braun Strowman with a chair, and the help of Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. They then destroyed the Monster Among Men, and it was with steel steps. Bobby Lashley delivered a spear. Drew McIntyre delivered the Claymore kick. It was just a huge ordeal on Monday Night Raw that took up the majority of the first hour. It left Braun Strowman with a shattered elbow, and that set up the angle with his shattered elbow, which isn't real, but it does play off a real-life injury, like I said, with bone chips in his shoulder. But Braun will still need surgery at this point before his TLC participation, and his TLC match with Baron Corbin now could be up in the air. PW Insider noted that the reason why Baron Corbin destroyed Braun Strowman was so that it might make it even more believable that the acting general manager might have a chance against defeating a guy like Braun Strowman in the gimmick match that they will have at TLC, which is a tables, ladders, and chairs match on December 16th. That is, if they can even get Braun back by that time. Now, only time will tell what happens next with this situation, but Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin, as of Monday, was planned for TLC. Backtracking just a little bit, I don't like that PW Insider is reporting the reason why Baron Corbin destroyed Braun Strowman is that it might make it more believable for Baron Corbin to beat Braun Strowman. Baron Corbin is a big guy in himself, and WWE should be building Baron Corbin up as a dominant heel. Now, the Raw GM spot with Baron Corbin has done good for him in this role. It has given him mic time. It has given him a little bit more confidence on the microphone. If you look at Baron Corbin now compared to a year ago, he is much better on the microphone, much more fluidly. His promos come off a lot more natural and a lot better. Can't say the same thing for his in-ring ability. I honestly believe Baron Corbin has all the tools and the skills to be a top-notch player in WWE, giving him a main event spot. But I don't like that you are trying so hard to make Baron Corbin look believable when he already, for a guy his size and a guy as athletic as Baron Corbin, looking believable against a guy like Braun Strowman. He should already look believable. So that's where WWE fails to create characters for guys like Baron Corbin. These general managers, number one, they focus the entire show on these general managers, and I'm sick and fucking tired of this same formulaic, stale garbage. Number two, all these heel GMs are always cowardly. Can we ever have a dominant heel GM that has, traits of don't fuck with me? Baron Corbin has traits of don't fuck with me. You look at his attitude in NXT compared to what he's done on the main roster, chicken shit heel. I don't understand why WWE has this same tired formula for heels on the main roster. Chicken shit heels. With the exception of Samoa Joe and Randy Orton. It's fucking ridiculous. Every heel is a chicken shit heel. Every heel has cowardly traits. I think it's about time we move on from that. So I didn't like that aspect of it, but I knew that's where they were going with this. My reason on Monday Night Raw Review, when I covered this storyline and gave you a glimpse of what I thought WWE was actually trying to build up a come-from-behind Cinderella tale with Braun Strowman because they fucked up with giving him the Universal Championship. Not once, but twice. So here we are. Actually, if you want to include the Roman Hell in a Cell match, 3 times. With Lesnar twice. I thought that they were going to make Braun Strowman a little bit more of an underdog character, giving him this situation, fighting his way back, beating not only Lashley and Drew, but Baron Corbin, overcoming the 3-on-1 deficit, the Wolfpack mentality, and then go into the Royal Rumble, and then have them try and make you believe he has a fighting chance against Brock Lesnar. That's what I thought that they were doing. But apparently, they're making Braun Strowman, seem like he's injured, and Baron Corbin a little bit more believable because he dominated Braun Strowman, did Baron Corbin. But with the help of Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. I don't like it. The storyline has absolutely no investment from the fan side of the fence. That's the way I feel about that. So we get the shattered elbow on Raw. Braun Strowman will require surgery. And coming out of Raw, the news hit that his TLC match with Baron Corbin was in question. Now, WWE later announced in the episode of Raw this past week that Strowman's injuries were serious and he had a shattered elbow. This is indeed a serious injury if that were the case, but as with a lot of things in pro wrestling, this was an exaggerated diagnosis. However, Strowman really is injured and will require surgery on his elbow. Dave Meltzer discussed during Wrestling Observer Radio the actual nature of Strowman's injury and the fact that while he will require surgery, it's not going to be as bad as they made it seem, but however, it's still touch and go on Braun Strowman's status for TLC. He says, and I quote, "Well, I guess the biggest news is that Braun Strowman is going to have elbow surgery, so the deal on Raw was a cover-up for that. He has bone chips in his elbow that were quote-unquote destroyed, and that was the one he had the bone spurs in. It's not a big deal. Obviously, his elbow was not shattered. It's touch and go whether he'll be in San Jose for the match with Baron Corbin, the TLC match that they announced on Raw. I guess it depends on the seriousness of the surgery. The belief is he's fine for the Royal Rumble with Brock Lesnar, which they also announced, surprisingly, on Raw. So the plan is, in fact, Strowman versus Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. So that's the deal of what's going on with Strowman, why they did what they did," end quote. Now, WWE, and I will mention this in a little bit, they announced Lesnar and Strowman at the Royal Rumble on top of announcing Strowman versus Corbin at TLC. And there's a huge issue in announcing both of those matches in the way that it was announced, or in the manner that Stephanie McMahon announced it. And we'll go over that in just a little bit after I get through all this news. Now, moving on from what Meltzer stated, WWE's reported Plan B. Now, this is tentative. This is not really a set-in-stone type of situation. This is a Plan B if WWE finds out Strowman is not medically cleared for TLC. Mike Johnson actually talked about this situation in WWE having a backup plan during PW Insider Elite Audio this weekend in case Strowman is unable to get his elbow fixed in time for the TLC pay-per-view event. Now, the expectation amongst those, he says, and I quote, "The expectation amongst those that I spoke to is that he will most likely make the TLC pay-per-view. But the big, and I mean big asterisk there is once they cut him open, they probably won't know how bad the damage really is, and you don't know how the body is going to heal. So I was told if they're going to help it, they're going to still have him on TV in some fashion. They don't expect there's going to be any major time away from television, but you don't know until you go under the knife." The feeling I got from those this week, once I learned it was a legitimate injury, was they could always do a very one-sided deal where he just kills Baron Corbin and wipes him out, and then we wouldn't really have to worry about him wrestling again to the Royal Rumble. And if that is the case, and he needs more time off in terms of physicality, we'll see. But there was no sense of the sky is falling. So then that eliminates everything that the prior report stated about Baron Corbin being built up in a believable way to beat Braun Strowman. Because if that was the idea, and then they resort to that, everything you did on Monday Night Raw was a complete fucking waste of time. And speaking of waste of time, the way that this all came about was a complete waste of fucking time. Stephanie McMahon looked Braun Strowman directly in the face and said, "If you lead Raw to beating SmackDown at the Survivor Series, you will get Baron Corbin." Okay? Braun Strowman says, "I want more. I want a shot at Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship." Stephanie McMahon says, "If you beat SmackDown in the men's elimination match and you lead Raw to victory at the end of the Survivor Series, you will get whatever you want." It's exactly what she said. He got Baron Corbin. He got Brock Lesnar. He got his Universal Championship match. He won the match for Raw, almost single-handedly. Okay? So Stephanie McMahon comes out on this week's Raw and states, yes, I did say that, but now I'm changing everything up. I'm backtracking on what I stated. So, yes, you can get Baron Corbin, but at TLC, you have to beat Baron Corbin to get your match against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. So, what they are pretty much telling me is that WWE forgot what they had booked just a week before the Survivor Series, that the Survivor Series meant nothing, and it's as if the Survivor Series never fucking happened. And what WWE is trying to tell me is that everybody on Survivor Series in that match, especially Braun Strowman or whatever happened at the Survivor Series, especially coming from SmackDown side, meant absolutely nothing to everybody involved. Everybody that participated on that show meant fucking nothing for the storylines moving forward. So in turn, WWE changes their plan or their storyline on the fly just a day, 24 hours following the Survivor Series, in which Stephanie McMahon promised all this to Braun Strowman if he's successful at the Survivor Series. He was, and then he doesn't get what he wants. Like, I don't understand why he has to go through Baron Corbin to get a Universal Championship match when you promised him he can get a match with Lesnar if he succeeds at the Survivor Series. So I ask you, seriously, I ask you, wholeheartedly, why would anyone give a shit next year, fan or wrestler in WWE? Why would they give a shit about the Survivor Series if this type of situation happens just 24 hours after the 2018 Survivor Series? Why? Why? Why am I going to care about the Survivor Series if Shane McMahon was so obsessed with beating his sister and having SmackDown be the superior brand, claiming that if they don't win the World Cup, there will be a termination? Or if, come Tuesday, there's going to be major changes, he posts on Twitter. 24 hours after the Survivor Series, there's going to be major changes, a major shakeup on SmackDown Live. Because we lost 6-0. And nothing happened. Why am I to care? Do you see where I'm coming from? They get a good fucking review out of me, and then you look back at the week's progress, and it's like they fucking mentally erased it from everybody's mind. I don't get how fucking lazy a creative writer can be in this company without realizing what they said a week ago. That's the part where we get frustrated. They make us feel like we're inadequate, retarded human beings. This company is fucking ridiculous. Laziness is their mantra. So here, plan B, yeah, let's have Braun Strowman destroy Baron Corbin in a TLC match with one fucking arm. Who's ever going to take Baron Corbin seriously if that's your plan B? You're telling me WWE didn't realize Braun Strowman was injured before they made all this announcement? They knew he was injured going into Survivor Series. Don't tell me that they didn't know. Then you proceed to book him on a TLC show when you know he's injured and you know he has scheduled surgery. Man, the injury must not be that serious if you're booking him for the fucking pay-per-view. But in actuality, a real, logical human being would realize, well, Strowman's hurt. Let's not book him for a pay-per-view that happens in 4 fucking weeks. This is WWE. This is the way that they operate. So now, I hope Braun Strowman doesn't make TLC. Just to fucking stick it to them. Changing shit up on the fly, making everything at Survivor Series pretty much fucking worthless, And then you're booking a guy in a major pay-per-view match with major implications with a fucking injury, and you don't even know if he's going to be there. And this is the biggest wrestling company in the entire world. Unreal. Absolutely fucking unreal. So, I'm also hearing now that Braun Strowman hasn't even had surgery yet. He hasn't even had surgery yet. You're booking this guy for the pay-per-view, and he hasn't even had surgery yet. So how am I supposed to believe that this guy is going to show up at TLC and do anything that he needs to do for the pay-per-view? Burying Baron Corbin in the fucking process. I don't even understand this. He hasn't even had surgery yet. He should have left Raw immediately on his way to the fucking hospital or medical facility. And he should have had surgery, and the recovery process should be about 6 days deep right now. PW Insider's reporting that several sources have confirmed to them that Strowman hasn't had surgery yet, but it's scheduled for Monday. Oh man, this surgery must not be at all that serious. At that time, we will have an idea about how just bad it really is. But until the doctors get in there, it's anyone's guess. WWE's goal is to have Braun Strowman back for TLC. Man, they must think Braun Strowman is made of fucking magic. Let me wave my magic wand on my elbow and poof. It'll be healed in 3 fucking weeks. Fuck out of here. This is fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then what are you going to do with Strowman? What are you going to do with... I mentioned this on yesterday. What are you going to do with Strowman? Mentioned it on the podcast yesterday. Do you honestly believe when he beats Baron Corbin that he's going to beat Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble? Who is interested in another Braun Strowman-Brock Lesnar match? I'm not. That ship has sailed. It's over. It's over. Braun Strowman right now, you look at Braun Strowman. Do you see Universal Champion? Nope. I don't. Maybe a year ago I did, but this year, not at all. Not at all. You can blame Roman Reigns and WWE Creative for all that. It's over. Time to move on. Landscape of Monday Night Raw is going to be vastly different in 2019. You're not going to have Braun Strowman leading your brand going into WrestleMania. In fact, Strowman going into WrestleMania is going to make the card much worse compared to Brock Lesnar walking into WrestleMania with the Universal Championship. That's just my opinion. Lesnar can get a better match out of Rollins, get a better match out of AJ than Braun Strowman can get out of anybody. Why even bother? It's a waste of everybody's fucking time. So now, coming out of the Starrcade show that happened in Cincinnati, we all know that Braun Strowman is due to face Baron Corbin. But at Starrcade, WWE could be preparing. This is as of yesterday. WWE could be preparing for him not to make the show. But they went ahead and booked him anyway. Bray Wyatt made his in-ring return. Yes, I didn't stutter. Bray Wyatt made his in-ring return at Starrcade last night, where he wrestled Baron Corbin, and then their match turned into a 6-man tag. Man, I feel fucking so sorry for anybody that paid money to go sit there. Sounds like a fucking Monday Night Raw. Where he actually pinned Baron Corbin. Bray did pin Baron Corbin. Baron is now slated, this is just a rumor, possibly to go one-on-one with Bray Wyatt at TLC. And this is according to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio. He says WWE could be gearing Wyatt up for a replacement role for Braun Strowman. I quote, "I don't know if that means he's going to be back at TV on Monday or not, but perhaps that means they may do an angle on Monday if Strowman can't wrestle and Bray comes out comes back and wrestles Baron Corbin in San Jose. Maybe. Who knows? But maybe Wyatt will be back on Monday. End quote. So, what I get from this is that Wyatt is WWE's bitch. You have no plans for Bray Wyatt. The guy has sat at home. How long now? 2 months? Doing nothing. And you're going to bring him back in a bitch role to fill in for Braun Strowman. Now, clearly, Strowman and Wyatt have ties and a history together. Slightly. Strowman was a member of the Wyatt family, and Bray and Strowman, you know, there have been talks of Wyatt getting the Wyatt family back together. If WWE does not creatively write Bray Wyatt back into this fucking storyline, and they don't bring him back to television with some sense of fucking creativity, then who the fuck is gonna care? Do you miss Bray Wyatt? I don't. Does the show need someone like Bray Wyatt? Yes! But has Bray Wyatt been done justice on Monday Night Raw to a point where you're overwhelmingly wanting to see him on the show? The guy's gonna come back after 1 week and he's gonna feel like he was there the entire fucking time. Just settling in on Raw and feeling like everybody else. Irrelevant and unimportant. The guy is away for 2 months. The guy has a character that you could really get behind and have some fucking fun with. If you're not bringing back the Wyatt family in some sort of sadistic fucking role, then I don't give a shit. It's easy to pen something with Wyatt trying to get Braun Strowman back on his side, reform the Wyatt family, bring in Luke Harper, get Bo Dallas in there. Fuck the B team. You got a winning formula right there. You know, the ship has sailed on Braun Strowman. He isn't as big, you know, figuratively speaking. He's not as big as everybody makes him out to be. Guy's still green as grass. WWE hides him behind a fucking gimmick match every fucking week. They hide him behind a tag team match every fucking week. He's usually on the apron in the tag team matches, getting the hot tag. Oh, let me run around the ring like a fucking fee-fi-fo-fum giant. Let me power slam somebody. What does the guy actually do in the ring that makes you believe the guy is worthy of a Universal Championship? Nothing. Nothing. Maybe in 2017 when everybody was pro-Braun. He looked the part. He looked believable. You made me believe. Then you fucked him. He was nothing more than a fucking piece in the Roman agenda. Now, what he really should be doing is playing backup to someone like Bray. His role is a fucking backup player in a reformed Wyatt family. That's where he'll thrive. Or just a complete fresh start on SmackDown Live. Enough of this notion that he's Universal Champion or that he's the top dog on Raw to replace Roman or he's the man. No! The guy's a gimmick. He's a walking gimmick. You're going to watch this show. You're going to be like, oh, he's big. That's all he is. Oh, he's big. When you think of a guy, listen, if you're a watcher of this show like we all are, and you line up everybody in a big formation, and you look at this entire roster, and I'm including NXT, you look at this fucking entire roster that WWE has, and you need to choose one man to be the guy. That's my guy to build an entire company around. Who is it going to be? I guarantee you, zero. Choose Braun Strowman. He's not that guy. And if you choose Braun Strowman, you're either a fucking shill or you're a half-brained imbecile. It ain't Braun Strowman. I'm sorry. Get it through your fucking skulls. It's not going to happen. After 5 F5s at Crown Jewel, I'm done. Done. I don't give a fuck what you're trying to tell, what story you're trying to tell, where you're trying to go. It's done. Bury it. It should not see the light of day ever again. Either put him with the Wyatts, get the formation of the Wyatt family back on Raw, instill some fucking adrenaline in this show. Or get him over to SmackDown Live. The guy is absolutely done on Monday Night Raw. I don't want to see him against anyone else on Raw. McIntyre, Finn, Lashley, fucking Elias. There's no one there. The well has run dry on Braun Strowman. Seriously, it's all over. Moving on, keeping on the Monday Night Raw theme, who is to blame? Who is to blame for Dean Ambrose making Roman Reigns' leukemia dig comments on Raw? Well, we had Stephanie McMahon on Raw also make a joke about dismemberment because Braun Strowman didn't want to be legally held responsible for what he plans to do to Baron Corbin at TLC, even if he does make the show. This dismemberment line was far too soon after the Saudi Arabia controversy, so WWE threw that in there because they thought they were funny. Now, although fans might be outraged, Dave Meltzer pointed out on the Wrestling Observer Radio that it really doesn't do much good to complain about who wrote the lines because, in the end, it boils down to Vince McMahon. It is his decision. So, when you want to point the finger of blame here, don't blame Ambrose, don't blame Rollins, don't blame the fucking creative goons that they got 30 of who can't even who can't even come up with one conceived thought that actually is worth anything. Vince McMahon is the reason why the Roman Reigns leukemia, mentioning on Raw continues as we get on from when he actually made his first announcement. You can't blame the writer because this thing goes into a production meeting and there are 20 or 30 of these people in production. The head guy is Vince McMahon. So you have all these producers, you have Vince McMahon, you have all these filters to go through. It went through every single filter. Yes, you could say fire the writer, but you have to fire everyone else that it went through. At the end of the day, all of these things, every word that is written for Raw, the approval has to go through Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is the one responsible for every line, every angle, and everything that happens on their show. Writers can come up with the stupidest things in the world and you can fire them, but this thing went through way too many filters just to go fire the writers. End quote. Now, only time will tell what happens next. I mentioned on Off the Script yesterday that the plan right now, penciled in, is Rollins and Lesnar at WrestleMania, and the basis of their storyline is going to be built around Roman Reigns' leukemia. I ask why. Why? If Joe Anoa'i really has leukemia, why would we be making light over a serious fucking issue that could honestly kill the fucking guy? Why? Why are we talking about this? Roman Reigns has no fucking factor on the show anymore. Roman Reigns will not be factored into plans at WrestleMania. Why can't we leave this fucking guy alone to have him get better, in better health, and then come back, and then we can start talking about Roman Reigns, and then maybe, when he's all healthy and ready to go, maybe then we can build off the leukemia shit and make it into a storyline. But while the guy is going through treatment, we have to make this a fucking common thing and a common discussion every single week? I don't understand it. The guy is irrelevant now. Yes, he has ties to Ambrose and Rollins, but they are untied now. It's over. He relinquished the title. He's not going to factor into any plans moving forward. So why continue to mention him and build a storyline around Rollins and Lesnar as they have been rumored? Why? Because Rollins doesn't have any reason to fight Brock Lesnar, right? He never got his one-on-one match at Battleground several years ago. Never. That was ruined by The Undertaker. Rollins is the only fighting champion with a singles championship on Raw for the men. He's the main guy on that show. So obviously he's going to take a little knock in the fact that Lesnar only shows up when there's a payday, when he wants to, or when WWE has a scheduled appearance for him. So clearly Rollins has everything going for him to want a match with Brock Lesnar. And what does that say about WWE's writers. Yes, and I'm including Vince McMahon here. The guy's a senile old fuck who doesn't know what the audience wants. He is completely out of touch with literally everything. What does that say about you creatively up here? That you can't build a heel Dean Ambrose organically, naturally? That you have to resort to using Roman Reigns' name in vain and his issue, his real life issue, to get Dean Ambrose over? Do you know how lame that is? This isn't a knee injury. This isn't an elbow injury. This isn't an injury that he could come back from. This is something that Roman Reigns could never come back from. Ultimately, pass away from. God forbid. And you're using this to build heat on an active, healthy performer in Dean Ambrose? You can't write anything else to get this guy over as a heel. Man, I feel sorry for the lack of creativity that comes from everybody in this company. That is the laziest, cheapest way out that I think I've ever seen. Normally, I love this type of shit. Once is okay. But this has happened ever since the guy has went away. And now it's becoming repetitive, and now it's becoming ridiculous. It's okay if Roman is on TV and back. You can make light of it then, because we know he's back healthy. But now, with his future uncertain, you're just continuing to mention it and then now trying to build storylines off of it? Ambrose has more than enough reason to be away from the Shield and wanting to just be a rogue. He has more than enough reason as to why he turned on Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns has nothing to do with that. Now, when Roman was on TV, yes. But now, when Roman comes back, then make his issue Dean Ambrose. But Dean has every fucking possible reason to be away from the Shield and turn on Seth Rollins. Why don't you start bringing those things to life? Why don't you start writing creatively and give me a reason why Ambrose really turned his back on Seth Rollins? It was easy for Dolph Ziggler to mention why Dean Ambrose should turn, right? Before the Super Showdown, remember what Ziggler said in his promo with Dean when Dean was still a part of the Shield? Why don't Dean recite exactly what Dolph Ziggler said? It was easy for Ziggler. It was easy for you to script it for Ziggler. Why can't you do it for Dean? Cheap, lazy, uncreative. Absolutely ridiculous. They're going to continue doing it because this is WWE. This is how lame they are. And if you're giving me a Lesnar-Rollins match at WrestleMania with the premise being Roman Reigns' leukemia, I'll pass. I'll put my money on something else. I'd rather it be AJ at that point. Moving on here, man. Possible reason why Shane McMahon made no big changes on SmackDown Live. Mike Johnson speculated on PW Insider Elite Audio that WWE's reasoning for holding off any real storyline advancements post-Survivor Series might have been due to a couple of different reasons. He says, and I quote, maybe they're skipping a week because of Thanksgiving. Here we go again. For a company that has no off days or off weeks, yeah, we're skipping and we're going to skimp on Thanksgiving. We'll give you a throwaway show that means absolutely nothing, yet we still have a pay-per-view to build to in 4 weeks. Good job there, WWE. Great job. Maybe it's because of Thanksgiving and they don't want to start a new storyline while they think people are going to be distracted by the holiday week. Thanksgiving fell on a Thursday. SmackDown is on a Tuesday. Yeah, 2 days in between. Maybe they're just burnt out by the end of Survivor Series weekend. I honestly don't know. But SmackDown was beaten so badly at the Survivor Series that the natural evolution of the story would be something has to change on SmackDown. But nothing did. But they followed up with a show that was mostly goofy stuff. End quote. There was no payoff. The payoff needed to be on that show. Survivor Series is old news now. It's done. So if it didn't happen on that follow-up show, what good is it now? You're going to address it 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the Survivor Series? Why am I going to believe that you're angry now 3 weeks after Survivor Series, but you didn't mention anything a week ago? This company is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And by the way, I'm tired of the people mentioning, well, it's a holiday week, oh, it's this, or it's that. You know, nobody watches, blah, blah, blah. This is a company that has 0 off weeks. They constantly have shows to build towards. If there wasn't a TLC pay-per-view, then I would understand and be a little bit more open to the fact of, well, they just want to take a week off. But being that they have TLC, 4 weeks coming out of the Survivor Series, you better damn give me a fucking show with a follow-up and a goddamn fucking payoff for the Survivor Series. Laziness. This is what, I'm sure if you went to a job interview for WWE and you expressed how lazy you are, you would be a top candidate for this company. Seriously. That is ridiculous. All because it's Thanksgiving, they figured, we'll skip a week. We'll do goofy shit. The goofy shit is what's driving people away, and the fact that you have a TLC pay-per-view, you don't have the luxury of taking an off week. Tell me a story. Continue with what you did 48 hours after the Survivor Series on Tuesday. It's too much trouble for WWE. Now they're going to want to tell Shane and the story of him getting frustrated after TLC. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Fox executives were backstage on SmackDown Live. Man, I read this and I couldn't believe that Fox executives were backstage during SmackDown Live. Man, if I watched the horrors that happened on SmackDown Live, and I was like, this is what we're paying for. We're paying $1 billion for this fucking circus. I would have rescinded my offer and told Vince to go fuck himself if this is the shit that we got going on. Or if I was backstage, I'd be like, Vince, get this out of your system now. Once you are on Fox, this fucking bullshit, you got fucking Kofi Kingston doing fucking dives off the top rope with turkey stuffed on his hand, this shit ends. This shit comes to a fucking screeching halt in October of 2019. Get it out of your system now. You are a fucking clown. That's exactly what I would have told them. Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Live that Fox executives were backstage at SmackDown Live at the Staples Center. Therefore, it should have been a memorable show. WWE obviously should have put their best foot forward for Fox, who wants a more serious program. So, I wonder what they're feeling now after dance breaks with Carmella and The Miz being beaten by a fucking bum who's not even a contracted employee. And then obviously the turkey feast fight with the tag team champions, Sheamus and Cesaro, having pumpkin pie and corn and cranberry sauce dumped all over them. Did I tell you that they are the fucking tag team champions of SmackDown Live? Yeah. SmackDown needs to change. Raw needs to change. This is not what we want. I don't want comedy. I don't give a fuck if you're celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Hanukkah, Valentine's Day, National French Toast Day. I don't give a fuck. National Pancake Day. I don't give a fuck. Why don't you celebrate National Let's Give the Fans a Fucking Wrestling Show because we fucking care Day? Huh? SmackDown is just as bad as Raw. SmackDown Live going to be working with split crews in time for the Fox deal. Brian Alvarez discussed WWE's plan to split up their production crew during Wrestling Observer Live. It looks like WWE has a complicated plan, but it will probably work out for the best as they must accommodate for a live television taping on Fridays in their already hectic schedule. He says, and I quote, obviously, SmackDown is going to be moving to Fox in October 2019, and I don't have all the details right now, but they're going to be doing split production crews. So those people who were wondering how they'll be doing this, I mean, normally they would do Survivor Series, and for example, the pay-per-view would be Sunday. Then the production crew does Raw on Monday, and then the production crew does SmackDown on Tuesday. Obviously, if you got a Raw show on Monday and a SmackDown show on Friday, that's a lot of time for the crew to be hanging around doing nothing. So they'll do the split crews, and there will be a crew, I believe, that will start work on Friday, do SmackDown Live, and then do a house show on Saturday. Another crew that's going to be doing the Sunday pay-per-view, the Monday Raw, and I guess Tuesday, wherever they do a house show, whatever they're doing for the whole deal. End quote. He goes on to say, but I guess because of the split crews and because of the fact that they're going to be on the road for these things, and because WWE's pretty much mentioned this in their surveys, they're going to be doing more house shows on the WWE network. So it does sound like WWE is not only answering some questions as to how they'll be going to pull off SmackDown Live on Fridays in October next year, but we also know how they'll be able to accomplish getting house shows on the WWE network as well. Now, I feel like this could be a good thing because maybe, I'm shooting for the fucking stars here with this one. I don't think it's going to be, but we'll see. You know Vince McMahon's going to be involved. Maybe, as time goes on, give it some months after the Fox deal is in effect, maybe with the split crews, maybe Vince will let Triple H take over a little bit more of the main roster priorities and obligations for SmackDown on Friday. Maybe they'll have him lead that crew there, and he'll pretty it up in his own way. And maybe, Vince will have his guys on Raw. That's what I would love it to be, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. Vince is probably going to split the crews that he has now. Half of it going to Raw, half of it doing SmackDown. But what they need to do, if they're going to have a SmackDown Live on Fox, and they really want to make it a big deal, it has to stand out from what Raw is. And it really needs to sell the point of this is a fucking separate entity from Monday Night Raw. It is a brand split, and we have to live up to that. Different graphics, different camera angles. Give me something that Raw is not doing. Different feel, different vibe, different lighting, different set. Something. If we're going to go into this the same way that we are now, it's not going to be as special. They're just going to have a new home and hopefully a bigger audience. It needs to stand out and be different. What I hope is that Triple H does have a little bit more obligation and priority with SmackDown Live come 2019. Now, I'm really, really reaching for that one, but Vince is going to be involved with the product because this is a huge multi-billion-dollar endeavor. So he's going to have his blueprints all over that shit. Maybe we'll see a Vince McMahon of old come out, and maybe he'll actually put his best foot forward on Fox. We don't know. So they will be working with split crews in time for the Fox deal come October 2019. Speaking of deals, man, Harry's has two great deals for you. If you're a listener of Off the Script, you like that little segue, right? Yeah, man, I know. Harrys.com/script is the unique URL available for Off the Script listeners only. This is what you're going to get. Harrys.com/script. You're going to get a free trial shave set. 3 different colors. A blade, a color of your choice. You got blue, orange, and the evergreen. You're going to get a razor blade. You're going to get a 2-ounce bottle of the foaming shave gel, which soothes, hydrates, and it feels fucking fantastic on your face. And you're going to get a protective case for your blade as well. All you have to do is pay shipping and handling. The other deal is that Harry's is offering 2 holiday gift sets, one of which we unboxed here on part 1 of Off the Script. Go back and watch part 1 to see what you get in the holiday gift set and what it looks like. Very, very nice. But they have 2 holiday gift sets, one at $25 and one at $35. If you use our unique link, Harrys.com/script, you are eligible to save $5 off the holiday gift set. And believe me, it is beautiful, man. Harry's is not only the best shave that you will have, it's the best shave that I have. It's the best shave that I will continue to have. And I never stamp my name, especially this podcast, with anything that I don't use or don't believe in. And I know you guys would find the same use for it and love it just as much as I do, man. Harry's is the official sponsor of this show, and they are the best shave right now for all your needs. Women, you are included as well. This makes a great gift for you or for someone else, man. Harrys.com/script. Make sure you guys go and redeem your free trial offer. You will not regret it. And once that blade hits your face after your shave, you are going to think #off the script. Thank you guys so much for all that, man. Continuing on with the news. The Usos might possibly have backstage heat in WWE. I don't know why, but they might possibly have backstage heat. Brad Shepard commented on the "Oh, you didn't know? Raw sucks." He's got a podcast called "Oh, You Didn't Know" podcast. Real creative there, Mr. Shepard. But he was conversing with one of his sources in WWE who also wondered, as he did, who Jimmy and Jay might have upset backstage. He says, and I quote, "I had an interesting conversation with a source in WWE about the Usos. As you know, I mentioned a few times that I believe they're the greatest tag team of this generation, and they are definitely the best tag team in all of WWE. And so the source has agreed with me when I questioned, who the hell have the Usos pissed off? Because they still managed to be on the kickoff show so much, yet they're having legitimate, exceptional matches by today's standards with everybody that they're in the ring with in WWE. They do well, yet they always end up, it seems, in every case, on the pre-show. And I don't understand that one at all." Shepard also said the source didn't know why they might have backstage heat, but this idea wasn't rejected. So that is the very interesting part. There could be fire to this smoke. They're still around, but they're not featured like they once were at all when they were delivering, cutting promos, and welcoming everyone to the Uso Penitentiary. If anything, it seems like we're lucky to see them on SmackDown Live much at all anymore since their last title run. I really don't understand that. You know, SmackDown is booked so horrifically that you have teams on that show that you could really build a competitive division around, and the Usos fit into that 100% brilliantly. And I really don't understand why you don't have a team like the Usos featured every other week at least on their show in a revolving competitive tag team division. Like, what the fuck could they have possibly done? Did they say something on social media where they are upset by being on the pre-show? And then that would not even be their fault because they know how talented they are and they know the body of work that they have in the ring and how great their matches have been, and WWE doesn't acknowledge it. You know, we're seeing the New Day. We're seeing the Bar. Maybe it's just a case of WWE giving the Bar a chance. We've seen the Usos in the New Day, and now the Bar has to feud with the New Day. I don't know. But they are worth much, much more than being delegated to the fucking Mixed Match Challenge. So I hope that this is not true. And if it is, fuck WWE and fuck the creative writing on SmackDown Live because they clearly don't know how to utilize talent properly. I hope the Usos do not have backstage heat. Speaking of Monday Night Raw, remember when I mentioned that Monday Night Raw might be getting a new general manager? Well, Alexa Bliss may be considered for the new Raw general manager. Mike Johnson noted on PW Insider Elite Audio that he's heard backstage talk of Alexa Bliss being used in a very interesting role post-TLC, which would give her much more authority. The impression I have, and he says, and I quote, "The impression that I have is that she went through some medical testing while she was in Los Angeles and that there was no clear-cut indication that she was returning to the ring anytime soon. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. That's the best to my knowledge. It's not a paid situation where she's permanently going to be sitting out, but it did seem like, okay, in 2 weeks you're going to be good to go, or in 3 weeks you're going to be good to go." It's still very much up in the air. They'll probably still keep testing her. There was some expectation backstage at Raw that when they come out of TLC, Alexa Bliss will probably end up as general manager of Raw, which makes sense when you think about how they've given the change of ideas so quickly. I don't know that definitely 100% is the plan, end quote. He went on to note that if WWE went with this plan, it could have a huge upside to it because Bliss is a great talker and she knows how to get over with the fans. Also, the idea of Bliss and Paige being the heads and tails of the two WWE main roster brands could be very interesting. I don't like it. I don't like it whatsoever. You got Becky Lynch, who's got a concussion, same as Alexa Bliss, right? Maybe Alexa Bliss is a little bit more severe than Alexa Bliss, than Becky Lynch. But Alexa Bliss has a concussion a little bit more severe than Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch has no timetable for her return, and Alexa Bliss is somehow finding roles and spots and time to be on television every single fucking week. Why can't we bring Becky as SmackDown Live Women's Champion to be on TV and maybe cut a promo and do this about Charlotte and do that about Ronda Rousey? Alexa Bliss needs to be on television? What good is Alexa Bliss going to bring to television than Becky Lynch? What? At this point, at this juncture. Is Alexa Bliss making the shows and her segments a little bit more watchable? The only thing I get from watching Alexa Bliss on television is, why is she here? If she's injured, she should be home recuperating, and she should be where WWE needs her to be to get medically tested on when she will come back. If she does not factor into storylines, then she should not be on television. If she's not going to wrestle, then she should not be on television. Everybody else before her should have been off television, and were off television. The majority of them were off television. So here we are. If Finn Balor has a concussion, right, and he's going to be out X amount of months, let's make him the Raw General Manager. So you're telling me everybody that has a concussion and can't be on television, let's make them the Raw General Manager. Who says we need to have a Raw General Manager? You know, there's a show called NXT that operates pretty well without its general manager. This is what makes Raw sickening. The fact that they refuse to change. The fact that they're living with this notion for God knows how long, decades, that you need a authority figure on Raw. And now we gotta look at Alexa Bliss. Do you know how cringe that sounds? Fuck out of here. And then you'll have the fucking guppies on social media eating this shit up like a shit sundae. Fuck you, man. If she's injured, as seriously as they say she is, she should be home with her fucking pet pig. Finally, let's end this fucking show. Let's end this weekend, man. I ran through so much news this weekend. I am completely tapped out. 3 top indie stars reportedly headed to WWE. WWE looks to be adding even more talent, and they will continue to add talent because they don't want anybody going to All Elite Wrestling, AEW, or Ring of Honor, or MLW, or New Japan, because they're afraid. They will not admit it, but they are afraid. WWE looks to be adding even more talent to the WWE Performance Center very soon as their apparent raid on top indie talent continues. Ring of Honor and MLW will take a blow with this latest crop of signings for sure, as the rest of the indie scene as well. But it's not likely that WWE will stop at this latest batch of 3 signings. Trevor Lee, Sam Shaw, and ACH have impressed people wherever they have worked before the indies, but Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, it appears that they are on their way to WWE very soon. So it looks like NXT just got stronger, and that's going to make waves for more people to be called up. They are all going to WWE, Meltzer confirmed, as co-host Brian Alvarez brought up the fact that WWE is going to continue to be signing as many talents as possible at this point, especially with the rumored All Elite Wrestling being a huge possibility at this point. They're going to try and sign everybody, of course, especially right now. That door, they don't want that door to be open. So they don't want that door to be open to any other promotion. It was noted that WWE's gone from not having any big competition before to suddenly having a possibility of another war in the States with All Elite Wrestling, and Vince doesn't want that again. So that is that. Trevor Lee, I think, is great. I'm not too familiar with Sam Shaw, but ACH, I've called 2 of his matches now with House of Glory. The guy is fucking phenomenal. He is going to be fantastic in NXT. I actually found out about ACH after our last House of Glory show in October with Bully Ray and Sami Callihan. The owner, Brian XL, came up to me when I was saying goodbyes. He mentioned that ACH, that would be his last independent appearance. So I found out in October that ACH would be going to WWE. He told me then and there. Obviously, I wasn't going to say anything just out of respect for what he told me. But now that it's being reported, I guess I could say that I already knew about this come October, and I'm happy for ACH, man. The guy is a top-notch talent. The match that he had, we actually had a match with him and Rich Swann versus LAX, Santana and Ortiz, the Impact Tag Team Champions, our last House of Glory show. I'm going to link you guys in the annotation, man. Go check that shit out. Fantastic stuff from both Rich Swann and ACH, man. Top-notch talents that I would really like to see Rich Swann in WWE again with the re-emergence of 205 Live, man. You know, it's a shame that he's not there anymore, but ACH should be fantastic in NXT, as is Trevor Lee. Not familiar with Sam Shaw, so any new talent that I have an opportunity to learn about coming into the WWE, I'm all for it, man. NXT looks like they're continuing to build and build and build, and that may make wave for others to get called up in 2019, man. I am done for the weekend, man. Tomorrow is Raw. I will have a whole new week of wrestling content here on the channel, man. I am drained from this weekend's news. 5 hours of podcast. That doesn't include the editing and the waiting for this shit to upload, man. So thank you guys so very much for everything this weekend. If you missed anything, please go and check out everything in the annotation. Part 1, Part 2, NXT. I have some WWE 2K19 stuff there, and then the House of Glory match that I would love you guys to check out. LAX versus ACH and Rich Swann for the House of Glory Tag Team Championships at our last show entitled Extreme Warfare. Make sure you guys go and check that stuff out. If you lasted up until this point with me, please hit that thumbs up. Let's strive for 2,000 thumbs up on this very video. And if you didn't hit the thumbs up on those other videos, man, please make sure you guys go thumbs up those videos. It really, really helps out the content. Pushes it in YouTube's SEO search engine. So thank you so very much for everything, man. Please make sure you guys go and get your t-shirts. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. 35% off now up until 12 noon Eastern on Monday. Code Black Friday, man. If you guys have contemplated and wanted a shirt, this is the week to do it, man. Don't let it escape you. Go and get your shirts. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. 18 designs, the best looking t-shirts in the podcast community right now. And you could save 35% off by using code Black Friday. Remember, harrys.com/script for your free trial. And also $5 off the holiday gift set. And then audibletrial.com/offthescript. They are giving you guys 30 days free of their service and 1 free audiobook of your choice using our unique link, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. And if you guys don't like Audible service, you can cancel within the 30 days and keep your audiobook for free. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much. Thank you for a great weekend of Off the Script. I will see you guys next weekend for episode 250 right here on the podcast come Friday. I am JD. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. And I will see you guys next weekend on Off the Script right here for episode 250 and a brand new week with Monday Night Raw on Monday night with the review for a brand new week of content. I'll talk to you guys later.